It is possible to walk from California to Alaska without ever leaving the forest. Therefore, it is clear how a living creature could remain forever hidden in the dark bowels of this thick and awesome mountainous terrain that has become known as Bigfoot country. Eyewitnesses report this hairy, elusive giant, which we call Bigfoot or Sasquatch. From the Americas to the Himalayas, it is called Alma, Mana Grande, the abominable snowman, or the Yeti. Throughout history, multitudes have maintained that Bigfoot is a myth, yet a multitude of legends, the Holy Scriptures, and evidence as fresh as this morning's newspaper prove the existence of a humanoid creature that may well be the ancient brother of man.
I'm visiting with Peter Byrne, author, former big game hunter who hunts these days with only a camera. Also, he's the only man in the world that searched for the elusive creature known as Bigfoot full time. And Peter, we know that the Bigfoot is not the only creature that has failed to gain acceptance by large members of the scientific community and, for that matter, large segments of the general public.
Yes, that's true. There are several other animals in history. I think two good examples are the giant panda, the Chinese panda, and the African gorilla. The panda has been known in Chinese history for, 1,000 years or more. But scientists did not believe that they were there until the early 1900s. The gorilla, the lowland gorilla, I think first known about in about 1847, and the mountain gorilla, not until 1902, which is only a few years ago. And of course, in the Bigfoot, we have something very like that too.
So it's kind of the repetition of an old story, yes. Well, you tracked the Yeti in the Himalayas, and now you're here searching for Bigfoot. What brought you to the United States, Peter?
I came here to do an investigation of the Bigfoot mystery. I started an expedition, a search if you like, in 1971, and we thought it would last about 6 months, no more. Now we're in our 5th year, and we're still working on it.
We're pretty high atop the world here where we're talking. Where exactly are we?
We are in the high Cascades of north-central Oregon here. It's one of the main mountain ranges that runs from California all the way through to Alaska. Behind us here is Mount Hood, 10,000 feet, and right here we're at about 4,000 feet in the pine forests.
Well, in this general area where you've made headquarters here, there seems to be quite a bit more of Bigfoot activity than anywhere else in the country. What is the reason? Is there a particular reason why they center in here, or why this would be a Bigfoot habitat?
I think the main reason is that this is the principal mountain range, and these creatures, according to our research, live in the mountains, where there's lots of food, lots of water, and lots of dense cover, lots of dense forests. We're in the heart of it right here, and so it's an area that has produced a lot of evidence, a lot of footprint findings, and quite a few sightings.
Legends from all over the world tell us that gods came down to earth and mingled with mortal man. If this is true, then legend and the Holy Scriptures go hand in hand. Genesis 6:4 tells us there were giants in the earth in those days, and after that, the sons of God came unto the daughters of men, and they bore children to them. Of Esau's birth, it says, the first came out red all over like a hairy garment. Many feel the Bible chronicles a mating between terrestrials and extraterrestrials.
We moved into this area in early May. I looked at the timber. I saw something move, like 2 legs moving. And the cat skinner, Tom Brown, has fairly long legs, and I made the remark to the chaser, what's Tom doing over in the woods? And then I glanced down. I just saw his head sticking out behind the cat, his tin hat. And it wasn't Tom. And as I began to stare at what I saw moving, I saw a hairy arm reach out and casually touch the tree that it was walking by, just like it was for a daily stroll. And then it made a right angle and turned from me, and I saw these broad shoulders and just barely the nub of a head. And this thing moved with a grace that I've never seen before. The only thing that I could compare it with was a big buck deer and how they run. When they run, their horns never move. They move under their horns, and this thing moved with this same grace that it's hard to describe. But I knew that I'd seen something that I'd never seen before, because I know all the other animals in the area, and this thing was definitely, I'd say it was a Bigfoot.
René de Hendon, co-author of Sasquatch, is a Swiss-born Canadian adventurer and a man with a mission.
In order to understand what the Sasquatch investigation is all about, one has to understand the four main points, which consist of the Indian legends, which were here before the coming of the white man, the totem poles, the masks showing the Sunakwa, the Bakwas, and other related creatures which indicate Sasquatch-type reports. Also the journals of the explorers, which have mentioning of Bigfoot reports, newspaper accounts, etc., reaching way back in time. So the Sasquatch are nothing new at all. The second point to consider is that we have about 500-600 people who claim to have met creatures like the Sasquatch.
We walk into this cave and a tunnel for at least under 50 feet. And we stop. At this moment, an incredible roar comes from the back of this huge cave. And then stone, big boulder, throw against the tunnel, and we froze. We froze because at this time we realized that actually we are in a cave of the big mono, like the Indians said. We try to retreat slowly, but finally panic come into in our brain, and we start running, and we fall many times, but we keep going. And we reach finally the entrance of the cave.
The third point are the footprints from a 13.5-inch track to a 17.5-inch track. Then we have the famous Patterson film, which was made October the 20th, 1967, in this area, Bluff Creek, tributary to the Klamath River, showing a creature which looks to be a female, 7 feet tall, hair covered, upright walking.
Legends and misidentifications do not leave footprints and bits of hair, and lies and hoaxes are eradicated by electronic voice print analysis, eyewitness sightings, and bits of film. Bits of film that the impartial eye of the camera has managed to capture for the closing of yet another link in the mystery of man. The film you're about to see is the first taken since the now famous Patterson film. It was taken by a young attorney while on a camping trip. Due to the controversial nature of the subject matter, he has chosen to remain anonymous. This is the first time that the film has been shown publicly.
It was very large and hairy and had a terrible smell, like rotten eggs. The thing that got to me was the way it walked. It was smooth and controlled, you know, almost like a gazelle.